Alright, so let's make now this piece, and we are going to change just the thickness of the slot to be like 8.5 millimeters, and we will say that it is a 8.5/16, or that's approximately 8 millimeters thick material, so that way we can cut it. Okay, so let's go from the piece. So we are going first to make a rectangle of 90 by 24 millimeters. So we are in MMGS, material is acrylic. Acrylic. Sketch the front plane. Going to make a rectangle, which will be vertical 90 millimeters and horizontal 24. Now, I'm going to make a line, which will be a horizontal line of arbitrary length from this edge to somewhere out and to this edge here. Now, next thing that I will do, I will place the distance of 145 between this vertex and that vertex there. And that will be the distance between this point and this line, 145. And look what happened, it is fully defined. I'm going to extrude this.
So the line that you did horizontal, you just made a normal line?
I just make it, yeah, it's just a normal line. It's a line which is a horizontal, which extends from this point outbound, and then it close to here. And then I put the, I don't care, I just put arbitrary, because how long it will be determined after with this dimension line. And then I place just a dimension line between this vertical line and this point. And I type in 145. And I can extrude this. I will choose the contours. And I choose both contours. And I will say that this is 5/16 IN. And this is my first basic primitive for this model. Now what I will do, I can put like those two cuts, and as I said, I want to accommodate 5/16 inches, so I'm going to put it a little bit more, like maybe a 5/16, like 6/16 will be a 3/8, so I can put like a 3/8 of the inch thickness at 8 millimeters up. However, I will do this one only later on when I do the mirror, so I can do this one. So if I do it like the 3/8, actually that will be a 3/16 rectangle, because it will be a 3/16. So let's do it. Let's do the rectangle sketch, which we are going to do the rectangle arbitrary like this. Thickness of that rectangle, I will say that it is the 3/16 IN. And the length of that rectangle will be 78 from this end. 78. Okay, that will be my first cut. Close the sketch, do features, sketch, pardon, features, extrude that cut, and it will be a through all, and that will make that top cut. Okay, now let's start making these features here. So we see that there is a feature that those holes are all 5/14, that they are aligned on the line which is offsetted for a 12 millimeters. So we will use the 12 millimeter offset, and we know that there is a 34 millimeters from the base vertical line which cuts in. And we also know, what else we know here? Yeah, that there is a horizontal line which is coming out from the center of the circle, extruding outbound, so that cut it out, and that will create my base feature. So I'm going to start a new sketch. I'm going first to make an offset entity, and the offset entity is this icon in the middle of the sketch pane, and I will say that it is offsetted for 12 millimeters. And I will say that this is a construction geometry. Offset geometry will be a construction geometry. I'm going to click this line, and here is my construction line offsetted for a 12 millimeters. I know that the circle center will lie somewhere on that construction line. So now I can place a circle of arbitrary size somewhere here with its center located on a line. I will dimension that circle to be 14 millimeters in the diameter. And now I'm going to position that circle. Now this circle I can move anywhere across that line, and now I'm going to position it for a first seed element, and the first seed position will be what? Will be 34 millimeters from the base. So if I go here, if I click and I choose the 30, those three, we'll place 34 millimeters, and look, the circle just got fully constrained. Now, I want to create those two cuts. To create those two cuts, I need to look into some of the geometries here, and let's see what can I conclude here. At 34 millimeters, there will be a vertical line coming down, and then from the center it will emanate outbound. So I'm going to have vertical line from the center, which will be coincidental with the edge. So I'm going to close this sketch. Actually, or I can continue in the same sketch. I don't really need to close it. I can look normal to it to help me. So I'm going to create a vertical line from the center to the edge. It needs to be coincidental with the edge, and then I will click on the line with the left mouse, make it horizontal, vertical. And I'm going to create another line exactly like that. However, this time, and coincidental with the edge, I will click on the line and make it horizontal. And I will need to create a third line which will connect those two dots in order to have a closed contour for an extruded cut. And here is my geometry done for my first extrude cut. So I will close this sketch, and I'm going to extrude cut. Extrude cut. Choose my last sketch. Then I am going to choose all of the proper section of the sketch, and it will be a true all condition, and click OK. And here is my first cut. Now I want to propagate this cut for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 time with a 20 millimeters offset in a distance. 5 times 20. So how I'm going to do this? I will use the linear pattern, where for a direction 1 I will use the hypotenusis edge. Spacing will be 20, and instances will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be a 5. Instances will be 5. And the items to propagate, we don't need direction 2. The item to propagate will be cut extrude 2. And the moment I get it, look what will happen. Here is my piece created. And that's complete. Now I have just to do the mirror, and that will be the body mirror. If I click on a bodies to mirror, that's my entire body, and mirror face plane will be this surface here, and I need to be sure that merge solid button is on. Click OK. And now I have the last element to design, and what will be my last element here? The last element that I will need to do will be this cut here, 8 millimeters, and I said that it will be a 3/16 thickness so that I can cut it for a 3/8 so that I can cut it out of the 5/16 acrylics. So, and let's see, so 8 millimeter offsetted and all the way for a 90 millimeters high. So I'm going to make sketch here. Going to make a rectangle of arbitrary size, where the thickness of this rectangle is going to be a 3 divided by 8 IN, and the distance between the rectangle and the base is going to be 8 millimeters. And finally, we are going also to specify one more distance here, and that will be the length, and the length will be 90. We'll click OK. We'll go to Features, Extrude Cut, open my parametric tree and choose this, and I will go again through all, click OK. And here is our complete feature, and if it is specified as acrylic, the mass property of this feature, it will have 106.07 grams. And that concludes demonstration of making this pen holder feature.